My name is Deepak Biscuitwala, and I am today hosting this webinar. And today's our speaker is Kam Gupta, who is trained and certified executive leadership development life coach dedicated to achieving empowering results for his customer and associates. He is a senior member of ASQ and has worked with ASQ and its division at various levels, including members of board of directors, HD&L division chair, and local and regional levels. Kam is actively associated with International Coach Federation and is its past president on the Chicago chapter. Kam is also a member of CXPA and ICF. He is a strong customer advocate through his approach to total customer experience. Kam is an international speaker on topics of leadership, coaching, and customer experience. He has taught graduate courses in leadership at University of Celaya, Mexico, and Kam's experience is a vast network of industries, institutions, and leaders by creating empowering impact. Kam also holds a Master of Science in Engineering and Management from MSOE, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So before I turn on to the Kam, I would like to make sure to just talk about the ground rules. So this webinar is going to be for 45 minutes and 15 minutes for Q&A. You can ask your question in a question section on your right panel, and we will address all your questions at the end of the webinar. So Kam, this is your time. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Deepak, and welcome to all of attendees here. Just give me a second. Okay, so I want to make sure I keep track of the time. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please jot them down, and I think towards the end we can respond to them in Q&A. I'm so blessed to be here to talk to people from different walks and different states and different countries maybe. And we're going to talk about coaching. Coaching, I am sure you have heard about this by now. It's a very, like a relevantly growing, like a new and growing field. And now it has begun to reach the C-suite. Almost every CEO of a larger corporation now has an executive coach. And there are so many examples now where the CEOs tell us that if it were not for coaching, they would not be able to do the things that they have done. I have been in the quality field for about 50 years now, almost. And I can tell you that if I had coaching available to me, I would be much more balanced, happier, and powerful in what I did and impactful than how I did the things without coaching. So I want to bring this awareness to quality professionals and see if this can be made a tool for all quality professionals in dealing with the organization as we move forward. If you look at a typical quality management approach, we can see that usually it's a top-down approach. What happens is the work is distributed and we do our job, take up our time, 8 hours or whatever we work, and then we go home. However, many of us carry the work home or we leave it where it is. We are measured by expected results and by our hard work. We really don't include the impact we have in the organization and on the people through our work. Our feedback is usually delayed, and by the time we find out, it might be too late to do anything about it except go into the reaction mode. And then the whole system revolves around rewards and punishments. So if you think about from Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, it's not a highly motivating system. It motivates us through fear maybe or through reward. The internal motivation is very limited because we don't feel empowered at work. And we bring the same thinking then when we come home. We bring it to home, and which can manifest itself either negatively in our relationships or positively based on how strong our core is. So I'm not just talking about quality department leaders. I'm saying there are quality leaders at every level in the organization. There are very quality conscious executive leaders. There are many functional leaders. If you think about CEO who can openly talk about quality will come first no matter what, and then there are CEOs who say bottom line will come first no matter what. Then we have operational quality, which is where most of the quality control and quality assurance begins to come in. And then we have departmental quality, like the quality in the finance department, where they make sure that there are no errors in billing or no errors in collections. So there are quality aspects in every area. They're just not called that way. So the question is, are our leaders quality-minded leaders first? And how we as quality professionals can help create that kind of mindset throughout the organization. So if you think of a more progressive approach in quality leadership, I would say the quality leader is passionate about creating great value in every action. If you can think about it that way, creating great value in every action. So unless I know what value is, my actions might not reflect that value. So that means every action I take is an action with a conscious choice. So that means delivering super quality as experienced by the customer. Evidence of increasing throughput in all process flows. So we think about Lean, Six Sigma, continual improvement, contagious enthusiasm and motivation of quality professionals and others in the organization. That means just by being around, people get so excited that, gee, now I know the environment is right, I can do it. Competence of quality professionals in all aspects of quality leadership. So that means that's the HR role in the sense that we are highly competent individuals. That means we don't need to be told. And planning that brings results. That means our strategy is aligned with our actions and with our outputs. So this is a kind of, if you think about it, when I was a quality manager and director and vice president of quality, I used to think, what is my impact as a quality leader? And it's deliver great customer experience. That means customer is the next user. That was my definition, and that's the definition of many companies. So including all the employees, they are my customers. They are the ones who use the information we provide them. So they must have great experience from our activities. Deliver what was promised and then some. Create as planned or improved version of it. Rework is not really then part of it. Prevention and built-in quality become part of what creation is. Spread trust empowerment, and competence. So we had situations where employees were degreed, they were educated, yet they did not feel competence. So we made sure that through assessments, we made them competent enough so they feel empowered. They feel that, yes, we can do it. And then when they know they can do it, other people can then begin to trust that process. So this is a slide I show in all my presentations, because if I know myself, I can do many things that I want to do. So what influences me is the same thing, that this is the core of me. This is core. This is me. And I have been shaped by family, friends, by environment, and by other factors around me. And they determine how I think and how I feel and how I act. And those actions bring the results and then experiences which reinforces who I am. So if I can become highly aware of it, and if I can know that my actions, or I am bringing these actions, and am I using excuses or am I using responsibility and accountability for me, I know I can change things around me. So it becomes viable for me to really grow as a strong self who follows the heart rather than the head only. So coaching is a very personal and organizational tool, complete by itself and motivating, energizing, and raising the level of performance of each individual as well as of the entire organizations. In coaching, we have realized that there have been up to 200% ROI, and the degree of joy and happiness and the balance it brings in the employees and in the management, collaborativeness, is sometimes immeasurable. In the quality professions, what I have seen is we are mostly linear vertical organization, or we are spread out and we are just doing our job. Our jobs are not aligned, integrated, or interdependent on anything. So that gives us a very monotonous role in our organizations. So the goal is, how do we become, and many times we use that, gee, this is the procedure, gee, this is the policy, or this is what I can do, I cannot do any better. These are the kind of rules that we follow in many of our appraisal related activities. So through coaching, what happens is we can begin to share with others to take responsibility for the work done. And an example being that we had a big rejection from Ford Motor Company, in a company where I was quality manager. So my boss came and says, what is quality doing? You're shipping all the bad product. And I know 100% inspection is only 80% effective. So if the product has high rejection rate, chances are that there's a great likelihood that customer will get one or two bad pieces. So I asked him, what is the source of these defects? How come you are not addressing the source of these problems rather than the inspector of these problems? And somehow he got it right away. And he went to the plant manager, and that's when the action really began to take place. It did not mean that I will not take responsibility for shipping or not inspecting more effectively, but I also wanted to make sure that the source of the problem is addressed rather than the effect of the problem. So quality professionals have the greatest opportunity to use coaching in all their interactions to make quality genuinely integrated in all processes at all levels. So if we can make coaching as a tool for all quality professionals, our conversations at all levels in the organizations will be very different. And they will be more inquisitive, appreciative, and moving forward. And they will be supportive and team-oriented at all levels then. And I think that's my goal, is that through coaching we want to achieve that in the organizations that I work with. So what is coaching? You must have heard of coaches like sports coaches, fitness coaches, then there is an academic coaching, and then there is a personal and professional growth. So this coaching that we're talking about is personal and professional growth. So all coaches are good because they always try to encourage the coachees in becoming stronger and using the right techniques. However, make sure that we understand that coaching is different from advice or counseling. So in fitness and sports and academics, we may still provide some advice or some counsel or some guidance. In personal and professional coaching, the belief is that we know what we are doing, or we know what the solution can be. We just don't have the power, or we don't think far enough to really find that solution. So it's a very empowering process. I have been doing coaching for almost 13 years, and I have worked with CEOs and the doctors and other professionals, and I can tell you, once they understand it, once they see aha, they are so unstoppable, and they're so real themselves rather than somebody hidden in a suit and pants. So these are some of the definitions I took from the web, from Wiki, and from some other materials. So coaching helps or support people move forward and lead in setting personal and professional goals that will give them the life they really want. So coaching talks about life. So even when you say, I want to improve the productivity in my department, and if we really use the 5 whys techniques, ultimately the why comes down to the personal want, life. I don't want to be running around after these people. I don't want to be chasing all the problems. I want to do what a president is supposed to be doing. So this is all about me, even when I think that I want coaching for other people. Most people do want to be healthy, successful, and happy in their relationships, work, and society. They might be a bit stuck or simply ready for a big change in their lives and want to support of someone they can trust or build trust with. So many of us are willing to open up. We just don't know with whom, because we don't trust. And in coaching, we have learned that sometimes we just don't trust ourselves, and that's the reason we are not able to trust others. So professional coaching is an expansion of inside-out work done through actions mentioned above. Coaching also is as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So if you think about yourself, when you are talking in a non-stress environment with the friends where there is no fear of consequence, we are very creative. We have thousands of ideas, and we feel like some of them we really can do. Yet when that environment is over, we no longer pursue those ideas. So through coaching, we can support them in understanding what is really important in life and how they can follow their dreams, so to speak. So for many, coaching is a life-changing experience that dramatically improves their outlook on work and life while improving leadership skills. Coaching helps people tap into their potential, unlock sources of creativity and productivity. So if just one person is motivated, chances are not much is going to happen. in a collective environment. However, in an organization, if we develop a lot of peers that are motivated, they can actually move the mountains. So if you think about Lean or Six Sigma, Lean techniques, they say, even though they work, they're still highly counterintuitive. And that's the reason to make them stick, you still need a discipline and supervision. Through coaching, everything becomes more intuitive. So now it is self-driven. It no longer requires somebody to tell us what to do. And that's the big difference in coaching versus all other methods that I have experienced. I want to first apologize for my voice. I have a sore throat today and a little bit my voice is cracking up. So if you are having difficulty, can you please let Deepak know, and Deepak, please let me know and see if I can do something differently. So what coaches usually do, they build trust. Personal transformation first requires a sense of comfort, safety, and rapport. The first step is not just listening, but hearing the client's true needs, and that's voice of the customer. So wants, needs, and wishes, and dreams. So all those things together. So what it does, it builds listening abilities in the coach. And the more I can listen, the more trust I can build in the person that I'm listening to. Then the plan for success. Coaches help people get SMART goals. I'm sure you know what the SMART goals are. And discover paths to achieve them. They provide structure for decision making so people can focus on pursuing their vision. Remember, if something is aligned with my vision, chances are I'm more motivated to doing it rather than somebody that's aligned with somebody else's mission. So successful companies like Zappos, that's the largest, like Amazon of the shoes, Zappos, they work very closely with each individual to first find out what their goals are, including goals to leave their company in 2 years or something. They work with them to develop a career path and a personal growth path and align whatever they're doing in the company with the things that they want to achieve. So there is no conflict, and they're so driven and they're so moved that it's amazing. And then giving feedback. To stay on track, people need encouragement, honest critique, not criticism, and to be held accountable. So coaches also help become that accountable interaction. They're the ones who can ask them, okay, so you promised to do that. How about the progress on that one? Coaches help to support and guide people throughout struggles and victories. And I'll share some of the beliefs that coaches have as we move forward. So these are the beliefs in coaching, that we all have a purpose. If I didn't have a purpose, why would I be working? Why would I be enjoying? Why would I be doing certain things in my life? We know the answers. We just don't know how to get there. So there is if you think about, synonym to that will be, first we get the answers and then the problems come to us. So solution comes first before the problems. And experience that in your life. Anywhere you will see that we seem to know what to do, we just are not sure either that's the correct thing or whether we should go there or not, or how to get there. We have the power to choose. So when I use the word I have to do it, what I'm saying is I'm giving up my power to choose. But if I say I want to do it, that means I am willing to choose. Our thoughts determine the quality of our growth. So the way I feel is the way I become. If I see there are no, if I think that, well, this company discriminates or there are no opportunities for me here, then chances are I will not grow there for sure. Coaches honor each individual as whole with full integrity and trust. So that means my job as a coach is not to find out what your weaknesses are, because there are none, rather to find out what your strengths are and how you can use those strengths to build where you want to go. So professional coaching brings many wonderful benefits. It brings fresh perspective on personal challenges, enhanced decision-making skills, greater interpersonal effectiveness, and increased confidence. And Kavi, in his book 7 Habits, he said that we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. So if we change the way we think, we can change the way we see the world. Very interesting. Those who undertake coaching also can expect appreciable improvement in productivity, satisfaction with life and work, and the attainment of relevant goals. So stress level in good coaches is almost bare minimum. They still are stressed physically, but not as much emotionally. So this is a study done by the International Coach Federation, where they interviewed people finding out what were the benefits of coaching. So this is what they found out, that 80% said that their self-confidence improved. 73% people improved their relationships. 72% improved communication skills. And 67% improved life-work balance. That's more than 2/3 people in all these categories. And then 70% improved work performance. Their productivity went up. 61% business management. They improved time management and team effectiveness. So everything can be done better. And better, I don't mean in terms of negativity. Better means more effectively than it can be done prior to coaching. Coaching integration. So what describes you? If you think you are a good coach or not, think about these things. If you are a coach, if you can become a good coach. So if you think people usually come to you for advice and you have a positive impact on them, then you sure are going to be a good coach once you get the coaching skills under your belt. If you see great potential in other people and are frustrated when they don't exercise that potential, and you are not able to help them use their potential. You emphasize strong relationships and a balanced life with many interests, including vitality in health and career. That means your own relationships, you want to emphasize that it must be strong. And the relationship with yourself is great. You value personal growth and seek a career full of personal and financial freedom. So if these are some of your characteristics or dilemmas, you know that you can become a good coach. And many career professionals really see these things. They want to change. They want to help people, yet nobody listens to them. I see that even today when I go and help different companies. So these are some of the things that I have written them in like first person. Examine my present approach and preceding thoughts. What do I do generally? What do I think? Are my thoughts negative about people or they are positive? Understand my thought energy. How do those thoughts drive my action? Think of language or words in my vocabulary. and how they impact me and others. Who are my friends? Substitute them with positive words if we have negative words, actions and dynamic words. You will see a tremendous difference in the way you perceive yourself. Trust in myself and my clients. Do I really trust the people on the floor if I'm in manufacturing, or the people whose work I'm inspecting? Learn new trust-based approaches in handling various situations. Be present when present. That means when I'm in a meeting or when I'm in a conversation, do I generally drift away and start thinking of responses, or do I really pay full attention and am present, and the other person can feel respected and important when they're talking? If that's the case, that means you are integrating some of the coaching skills in your own personality, in your own life. So coaching enables us become stronger leaders, create stronger leaders. So that means, remember the definition that the great leader is the one who creates more great leaders, and spread the joy at the workplace. So the goal is not just to do your work and go home, rather do it happily, be at peace, enjoy it, get excited about it. So when you go home, you look so excited that people will say, hey, what happened to you? You are so happy. Every day. So I'll give you some real life examples how coaching was used in these situations. In the first case, an operator came to the supervisor and asked and said, sir, my machine is beginning to make noise and I see some oil leak. So I have shut it down. I need help. Now, in most of the companies, supervisor immediately will write a ticket and ask the maintenance department to come and fix it. But this was a Japanese company, an autonomous manufacturing environment where operators control the machine's environment. They have the 5S of the machines. So supervisor immediately pulls out his notebook, draws a fishbone diagram, and writes the problem at the head of the fish. Machine crank noisy and leaking. And then he begins to ask the operator questions. Why do you think it's happening? I was listening to, just observing them talking, and the operator was giving him various reasons, including improper maintenance, or it has been doing it on and off for a long time, but maintenance did not take care of it, or we were using different material this time, or we have increased the speed of the machine, and things like that. And supervisor was immediately putting them into manpower 5Ms that we have in the fishbone diagram. So supervisor then asked him, so what do you think should be the first step? And operator says, I don't know. So then supervisor says, well, do you think you can check the leaking, where it's coming from? Oh yeah, I can do that. What else can you do? Well, I want to find out where this noise is coming from. So go ahead. Why don't you do that and let me know what you think. So operators, and when do you think you can do that? Oh, I'll do it this afternoon. Operator went back and supervisor wrote the action taken. He goes back, he checks it out, and he finds that something was stuck between the spindle and the socket, and that's the one, the alignment was affected, and it was creating that noise. And it was perhaps putting extra load on the machine somewhere, so the oil was leaking from the other area. He came back, he reported to the operator. Operator sent the maintenance man and got it fixed. The supervisor sent the maintenance man. So what I noticed was the supervisor never took the ownership of the problem. He had prepared the operator to solve these kind of problems, and he kept the problem in the zone of the operator. So operator had full ownership of his machine in that way. Complete and an ideal example of supervisory coaching. Interaction in a team. I was working in a team that had been meeting for 6 months, and they were not coming to any conclusion. And it was an FDA regulated company. And I asked them, why are you meeting for 6 months and not coming to a conclusion? Well, we are required by the law that until the root cause is found, we cannot abandon the team. Think about it that way. So I asked them, why are you not able to find the root cause? And they began to point at each other. Well, you know, sometimes he doesn't show up, sometimes they don't show up, etc. So I asked one general question: how relevant is this problem now? Oh, we don't even make the part. It's obsolete now, but we can't close it because FDA says we have to find a root cause. There is no such requirement in FDA, but it's a made-up requirement which is written in their own procedures. So I asked them, if we are not shipping any parts, if we don't have any more inventory and no more product is being sold, we can close this meeting, we can close this group, and we can consider it a victory. I guess we can. And they talked about the team, and the team said, yeah, that was the best thing that ever happened to our team. Think about that. A multi-billion-dollar company, and the cost of the team meetings was about $50,000 in those 6 months period. In the personal and professional growth, I have many clients, including corporate directors, who want to grow professionally. That means become more effective with their teams and become more effective so their team doesn't have to depend on instructions from themselves, and they know how to grow their jobs further. So that means they are taking full control of their destiny, and director is more providing them the support and the means to grow. So when they took the assessment, when this director took the assessment, they found out that they were struggling with their own issues which were interfering in their ability to connect with the teams. And once they resolved those issues, they became free as a bird. And the whole relationship and the interaction for them at workplace changed, including workplace culture. Because when they were hiring me for this process, that person told their boss, which was a corporate vice president, that I'm hiring Kam to do some coaching with me. And I'm talking about 10 years ago when coaching was not as popular. And the boss says, just remember, we have not hired any weak directors. So I don't support the idea of coaching. And I don't want to know it if you want to grow in this organization. So however, we worked through that person and used the money from their petty cash account. And when the difference was made, same boss asked that person, what happened? Why suddenly the change is happening in your company? Everybody's so happy. And then they explained to them, and then they say, wow, we didn't realize it's such a powerful tool. So sometimes we need to make sure that we give ourselves a chance to succeed. That means we need to form some new habits. And that's also from the Covey's book of 7 habits, that a new habit is formed through knowledge, through desire, the combination of these things, and the combination of skills. So I may know something, yet I may not have skills. So no matter how badly I want it, I may not succeed. So knowledge, desire, and skills, the interaction of these 3 is a habit. So think about what habits you want to form. So many times we focus on habits that we don't want. I want to quit this, I want to quit this, I want to go to gym more often, I want to do this. The habit is that I want to be fit all the time. If I can keep that as my habit, that means everything I will do will support my habit of thinking fit. So I always think fit. So everything else around that will change because my habit of thinking fit is more powerful than anything else I'm doing. Same thing, addressing problems. Can I address it at a local level, or each problem must be addressed through quality control? So those are the issues that are becoming vital in many organizations. And with digital environment, everything is becoming so user-friendly and so readily available that I'm finding many companies where quality assurance only facilitates the use of those tools and imparting of the knowledge and skills rather than solving the problems. So that's a real example of quality professional becoming actually coaches. So then in this new environment, how do you spot a happy quality professional? He knows the trends and the tools. That means a quality professional is keeping up the speed, continuous learning, is compatible, is competent, and is confident in using the tools. Pays attention. That means they're present when they're present. Grows competence, continual process of learning and doing new things. So when I was a quality manager, I also wanted to learn more about what excellent companies do. So I became a Malcolm Baldrige Award examiner, for example. Then I joined the Lincoln Award in Illinois. I also started teaching because I wanted to see what kind of problems do students bring coming from different environments. So that enhanced my competence actually and my preparedness. And they talk relevance. So they don't go around beating around the bush. They are very direct yet pleasant. They're very objective and they're very respectful. So that means they don't consider problems as problems, they consider as opportunities to further collaborate and grow. So if they make coaching as a way of doing things, chances are that the company will grow much faster, much healthier, and much happier than if we continuously do what we are doing at this time and only thing that we learn through the school rather than through our own personal growth. So some of the tools that we used in coaching, and these are only a kind of partial list, we use assessments. So assessments determine what their present state is, point in time. And these assessments are more attitudinal about what they think, how they think, what kind of words they use, how they feel in different situations. So that can be, and because the way I feel is the way I impact others. Voice of the customer, what the needs are, what the objectives are, SMART goal setting, 5 whys, ROI metrics. So you're doing all these things, but why? What's the return on my investment? Visualization techniques, appreciative inquiry, listening skills. Listening skills means being present all the time. And there is a term called active reflective listening. That means listening, confirming with the talker in terms of what you understood, and then moving forward. Project management skills, Pareto and bar charts to show the progress in the present state. Fishbone diagram to understand the causes of different problems. Personal leadership, living by example. So if I'm telling that in order to stay fit, one should quit smoking, and I'm smoking while I'm talking about it, then I know that I really don't have leadership about that. What if? So what? So for example, gee, I don't look beautiful. So what? Unless it impacts something, it is irrelevant. Visualization tools, I think I used that twice. And conversational IQ. There's a term called conversational intelligence. And actually you can go further into like emotional intelligence also, that how can I understand other people's sensitivities and speak in a way that other people will rather feel strong instead of weak. And these are some of the sources of information that I used for this presentation. So if you are interested, you can feel free to go explore them. Coachfederation.org, which is the International Coach Federation, like ASQ. This is an organization for coaches. Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching is a coaching school. That's where I went to school, and I think that's one of the top grade schools. Online archive. If you search online, you will find a lot of information about coaching, coach training, and all those things. I am working right now to bring coaching maybe to quality training, and we will begin to train maybe quality professionals as coaches, and I will work with the HD&L division and maybe ASQ a little bit down the road. So the power is in you. Remember that. It's up to me. I can make the difference. Am I willing to make the difference? And if I'm not willing to make the difference, what is it doing to me? If I don't ask that question, I will never realize my full potential. I think we are at that point, Deepak.
Hey Cam, thank you very much. While I'm waiting for some questions, I have one question for you. So I wouldn't say a question, but I would like to know a little bit more. So if you give us some relevant experience that you have coached someone, those kind of experience might help people to get some more idea about coaching.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So I had this corporate vice president. Actually, those three examples that I showed you, they were after coaching, but I'll give you a real example now. I have a doctor who has his own practice. And you know, doctors are very independent, rich people, so they don't listen to each other very well. And he says, Cam, I cannot make them listen to me. And if I talk to them anything, they leave my practice. They go somewhere else. So how can I grow my business, be happy, and not be working myself instead of making money off of other doctor services because it's my business? So first thing is, we sat down with him, understood what the voice of the customer is, what do they want, and what is stopping them from getting what they want. I also had them take the assessment, which is called energy leadership assessment, that shows what is their default thinking tendency. And he found out that that person has a lot of tendencies that take him towards anger and apathy. So they kind of coil back, move to inaction. And then when push comes to shove, he's the one who keeps working harder and harder while other people start doing what they're doing. So he was burning at both ends, so to speak. And his relationship was suffering as a result. So once he understood, he wanted to resolve the issue that why is he angry and why is he apathetic. You work through those, it's like the layers of the onions. We begin to peel the onions slowly and slowly. And in 3 months, he was able to become strong enough to reorganize his business, reorganize the reward system, and create better rapport with his doctors, service providers. he became a preferred source in his hospital, and he had more doctors working for him, and he had more time for coaching. So he hired me then. He kept me for 1 year because he says, Kam, this is not the end. I really want to do these things naturally rather than just as a learned skill. That means he wanted to develop new habits. And he did. Now he was so convinced. At this point, he is going through coach training to become a coach himself, because he says, I think I can do great, impactful things by bringing these skills in my own practice. So that's one example.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so. So I have another question that somebody has posted here. So do you consider coach as a shrink?
No. So that's what I talked about in the beginning. It's different than counseling or psychotherapy. Because shrink, what does shrink do? Shrink is more prescriptive in nature. After they understand what your problem is, shrink will even work with clinical issues. We will not work with clinical issues. So if you are in medication, or if your mind is being affected by certain things, then certainly you don't have the power to make choices. So then we will not coach. We send those clients. So if you have depression, for example, or if you are under medication taking for stress and other things and are more continual on that basis, then we know that you are dependent. That means your ability to make independent choices is limited. So until your doctor says that you have enough power to make choices and these drugs are not influencing you enough, we will not accept those clients as coaching clients. I don't know if that helps you. So we do difference from shrink is that we ask you, we go inside you, by you, only to the extent you want to go. And we ask you what the answer should be. Our belief is that you know the answer, you just don't know how to get there. And then we give you tools to empower yourself so you know that. So you will say, I did it. You will never say, my coach did it.
Thank you, Kam. So while I'm still waiting for some Q&A, please ask any question you guys have. Meanwhile, the question I can answer myself is, someone has posed the question, may I get a copy of this slide deck? Yes, you will get the copy of this slide deck, as well as you will able to watch this webinar on HD&L website, SharePoint, that will send you a link, and also survey link about this webinar probably within a day or day. So please look for those things. You will receive a link, a survey, a copy of this PowerPoint, and the recording of this webinar. So anyone has any other question?
I guess I made it simple enough.
I think so, but hey, still have questions. So I see one question coming. There are a few executive coaching groups who offer their training and certification to use in developing a coaching business. What are your thoughts about those? Are they reputable?
Okay, so coaching is a non-regulated practice. If you go into like shrink or counselors, they are regulated industry. Coaching is a non-regulated industry. So even if I don't ever go to school, I can claim myself to be a coach, and I can start my practice, and I can start telling people whatever I want, even though I don't know myself what a coach is. So it doesn't really matter. There are many schools now. There are at least 1,000 schools now where they will teach you how to be an executive coach, down from $500 to $50,000. So I would say no matter which school you go choose, you want to make sure what your goal is. Make sure that the school is accredited by International Coach Federation. It's like endorsed by them, so to speak. It's like if ASQ says that this is a powerful organization, chances are ASQ has done their work to really analyze them. So the good schools are those that get full accreditation from International Coach Federation. And then look them up and see what they offer. And all coaching is not just to start your own business. It's more important to really use in your life to become the most powerful person that you are capable of becoming. So you can impact other lives in that way. I don't know if that answers the question.
Well, I think David might be happy with your answer. Kam, I don't have any other question for you.
Thank you so much.
And everyone, thank you for your time. Again, as I said earlier, look for another webinar for April, month of April. We will publish very soon. And again, you will get a survey link. Please make sure that you take a survey and provide your feedback. That will help us to make our future webinar better. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm going to give you 4 more minutes to spend for yourself. Again, see you next month. Thank you.
Thanks, Kam.
Thank you.